We all know where the money from non-medical marijuana sales is currently going. It doesn't need to be that way. If we pass Amendment 64, Colorado businesses would profit and tax revenues would pay for public services and the reconstruction of our schools. Let's vote for the good guys and against the bad guys. Let's have marijuana tax money go to our schools rather than criminals in Mexico. Vote for Colorado. Vote yes on Amendment 64.
Welcome back to the agenda. Due to the television ad you just saw, along with the targeted efforts of smart pro-pot advocates, 2012 was a pretty productive year for the marijuana policy reform movement. Their wins include legalization in Colorado and Washington state, decriminalization in Rhode Island, and medical marijuana laws in Connecticut and Massachusetts. The hemp brick road wasn't all rosy, however. Congressman Ron Paul and Barney Frank, both proponents of legalization, retired, and a legalization initiative in Oregon failed, as did a medical marijuana initiative in Arkansas. Joining us now to lament his losses and crow over his victories is Executive Director of the Marijuana Policy Project, Rob Kampia. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Rob, you said something really interesting on the break, which is that you were encouraged by the Nevada State Supreme Court's recent decision on the margins tax initiative. What does what you're doing have to do with that?
Well, we were encouraged because we were concerned that our next marijuana legalization initiative in Nevada might violate the single subject rule because it involves removing criminal penalties, taxation, excise, as well as sales tax, etc. And now we know that our marijuana initiative will not violate the single subject rule. So that clears the way for us to place an initiative on the November 2016 ballot.
Okay, and what is that initiative going to look like? Medical marijuana legal in Nevada right now. We've got Senator Tick Segerblum pushing a bill in the session to provide legal dispensaries. Not clear yet on whether those will be state-run or not. Possibly it might be easier to get it through if so. But what's your plan for the next ballot issue?
The next initiative, if we decided to place it on the ballot, it would look a lot like the Colorado law, which would mean removing penalties for the possession of up to 1 ounce for people 21 and older, allowing people 21 and older to grow a few plants at home without any government license, just like you could brew your own beer without a government license, and then having the government license large-scale marijuana grow operations and also stores to sell the marijuana to adults.
What is the status with respect to enforcement in these states? I know the DEA is kind of holding back in Colorado, Washington, I guess not going after these folks. But what is going to be the disposition of that? Because if Nevada goes forward, I guess how that plays out in other states is going to have some kind of influence on what we do here.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, the nice thing about the Nevada plan is that we're going to already know what the federal response is by the time we get serious in Nevada. But currently, in Washington State and Colorado, the possession of up to 1 ounce, regardless of how you obtain that 1 ounce, is now legal. And people in Colorado are now able to grow up to 6 plants at home as of right now for recreational use.
Rob,
and then the federal government is sitting on its hands right now. They're looking at it, and they're going to issue some kind of decision sometime before the end of this year.
And public opinion plays into this because there's been a big shift on this issue in public opinion, I'd say, over the last 10 years. It varies by state, some states more liberal on this than others. Do you have reason to believe, either from your own internal polling or the work of others, that Nevada voters have softened up on this issue since the last time this was attempted?
Well, I'll answer it this way. When we ran initiatives in Nevada before, it was 2002 and 2006. Those were not presidential elections. Marijuana initiatives do far better during presidential elections because you have large numbers of young people coming out to vote. So you automatically do better, even if you don't run a different kind of campaign, if you wait for 2016 instead of doing it in 2014. And in terms of polling, the national polling is increasing by 1.5% a year. And last I checked, Nevada is part of the U.S., and the polling is rising here just like it's rising in California and Oregon and other states.
As you mentioned, the midterm electorate can sometimes be vastly different than a presidential election year, as we discovered, much to our chagrin, in my view, in 2010. We'll see how that works out in 2014. Meantime, I want to ask you about the lobbying effort that the pro-marijuana, want to end the prohibition, basically, of marijuana. What kind of lobbying effort, if any, you have in Carson City?
Well, there is going to be a sincere effort to try to pass legislation to have the state government regulate medical marijuana dispensaries. My organization is not spending money on that, but we'll assist folks who are lobbying on behalf of that. I don't really know what the chances are of that bill passing in 2013.
You'll assist them how? I mean, if it's not money on lobbying, just you're going to provide information, meet with lawmakers, or is there more to it than that?
Well, we have drafting expertise, so if there are amendments that need to be drafted, our staff attorneys can do that. We also have a nice email list that we can blast to ask people to contact their state legislators.
And has your organization and other organizations that are allied with you been in contact with Senator Sagerblum?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I understand that he is also, Dennis Myers, one of the best reporters in the state that nobody's heard of up in northern Nevada, but he points out that Sagerblum actually is going to introduce legislation this session to decriminalize marijuana. And so that's something that you might want to jump on.
Keep an eye on. Keep us posted. Unfortunately, we're out of time for today, but we'll have you back maybe in the middle of the session to see how things are going. All right, coming up next on the agenda, Republican Joe Heck starts a new PAC just as the Democratic PAC targets him for defeat next time around. The battle for Nevada's District 3, it's already on. Stay with us.